In a recent article by Eurogamer, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth underperformed. After skimming through the article and thinking about why this might be the case, I decided that there are several issues that are tied to the sales and decisions that consumers would make regarding the game. And this isn't even the first time that a Square Enix game underperformed recently, but this had led to the company acting like total crybabies because the game isn't Fortnite. Yes, Final Fantasy VII is one of the most iconic video games ever, and most gamers would recognize the world and characters. But look at this game and tell me that people are going to start the series with this game. There's a very small percentage of people who would only play this game, and that's fine. I'm not really angry towards that at all. But when you consider that this is a sequel, most people are either waiting to play Remake, didn't like Remake so it can fuck off, too much games in their backlog, or some didn't even play the original game first and waiting to do so. It's a long and complicated process that I think would need to be discussed, and I think this video could help with the conversation. This is why Square Enix is having a temper tantrum over sales of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I want to take into consideration that the article did mention a lot of problems that was mentioned in there. This includes the fact that Final Fantasy VII Remake released during the early parts of the pandemic of 2020. This was in part of a large gaming boom, with titles such as Animal Crossing New Horizons and many multiplayer games seeing record sales because most people didn't have much choices for entertainment. Rebirth was released when the whole world is now recovering from the pandemic and now have to face war and the 2024 election. With how much time people have when it comes to gaming now, it's becoming increasingly less, with more hours for work to meet deadlines, and for me personally, having a lot of classes and homework that will take the majority of my day. If you go to my channel page, you would know I made an 11-minute review of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I actually managed my time to play as much of the game. Plus, having a spring break when playing the game, I took advantage of it and beat the game. Even with this, the game as a whole is extremely long. Over 100 hours with multiple side content that is overwhelming for several players. In fact, it's one of my biggest concerns with the game, and many people don't have the time in the world to do such a thing. It's also important to note that even with how busy people are, people will eventually play it. The game isn't going to die if it's not a billion-dollar seller in the first day. Games would sell over time with people finding reasons to get it. Plus, new fans will be created now until the third installment, so it's not like the end of the world. Square Enix needs to understand that a game doesn't matter if it sells in the first few days, but rather is the product going to end up as a long-term seller. Most companies want short-term success for their shareholders, and this type of mindset is the result of why companies lay off staff, make low-quality content that follows industry trends, poor working conditions to meet deadlines, and a culture that is becoming more depressing. What this is likely going to indicate is that for some of Square Enix international offices, there are going to be many layoffs that will make the gaming community roll their eyes and act like spoiled brats. To conclude my overall thoughts, time and thought process behind why they expect such high demands is the biggest reasons regarding this situation. It's a sad thing, but it's not surprising. If anyone is interested, check out my Final Fantasy VII Rebirth video that will explain my thoughts on the game. Link in the description. That's pretty much it.